All right. It's grand finals time for the NA Weekly. And this man is about to get cheesed. Byun in the top right side of the map. And his opponent, Cure, in the bottom left side. Now, this isn't a straight up all-in, but it is a proxy marauder. Cure loves proxy maraudering on this map. He does it with 2 barracks here when he's playing against Protoss a lot. It's started to become a bit of a habit, but no one seems to have picked up on it yet, and Byun is not scouting for it. He's building Reapers and Hellions. If he knew about this, he would want to get a bunker on the high ground as quickly as possible. The problem is, with this build, you often build 3 Marauders, and then you float the barracks, so even if they have a bunker, you can still pick off the supply depots. And at the very least, you can cancel this command center unless they're really good with their SCV pool. 2 Marauders and an SCV are going to go in, and oh, the Reaper comes in and actually kills his SCV building the factory. He needs to finish building the factory, because building a Hellion at home is the only answer you have to your opponent sending their Reaper across the map. Cure was hoping that this Reaper would not come across the map, puts another SCV on it. Oh, Byun got to get out of there. Because, of course, Byun needs to focus on... Oh, the eBay block. That is so cool. Look at that eBay block. Because that gives him high ground vision, guys. Oh, this is like building a pylon on the high ground. Like, Protoss players do this sometimes. This is so smart. Oh, my God. It does die, though. There's a lot of damage output coming down. And now with the high ground vision gone, the bunker up, these Marauders are in trouble. He's going to try and run past the bunkers. Reaper ended up getting 2 kills on the other side. There's a Hellion out. The SCVs are all not mining. It's pure chaos right now. Those SCVs need to go back to mining. The depot gets lowered. Tech Lab gets built behind this. A 4th Marauder is getting built. Are we going to build a 5th one? He's trying to, but he's supply blocked with that depot SCV getting killed earlier. The Marauders, of course, more than a match for just Reaper Hellion Marine, but with the extra Reaper coming back, the numbers will be high enough that I think Byun can overwhelm. He doesn't want to waste more SCVs on mining time. The Marauder really wants to finish that Red Air Point Marine. It does manage to do so, but there we go. That one does survive. Now, this Marauder comes up, gets the SCV building the command center potentially. Yep, gets that SCV and runs away. So it's been a scrappy early game, but Byun's handled things well. With the Hellion here, oh, the Hellion plus the Marauder concussive is pretty big. Gets a Reaper kill. And Byun has a command center on the high ground. Command center has not started for Cure. But Cure's up 2 workers. He starts the command center on location, and he's thinking about going in one more time. He clicks on that SCV on the command center. There's not that many Marines in the bunker, so he's like, hey, if I just ignore them and focus on these other units, that's doing okay, but not the best trade. And arguably, he could have waited for the barracks to pick off the depot, but actually he couldn't because there's already Cyclones out. Overall, I do think Byun's a little ahead in this scenario, but Cyclone plus floating barracks can be a deadly combo problem. If you want to play bio, you need to build a new barracks all the way at home to start stim and all those other things from scratch. So the barracks is there. He's going to try and pick off the Hellion and then get out of there. But if Byun's quick enough, he should be able to save it. And in fact, looks like he's just going to chill for now. Oh, here we go. Cyclone does lock onto the barracks. It's going to kill it very quickly. Oh, man. It's expensive. Q is still up 4 workers. Keep that in mind, guys. And that command center has to float down as well. But with Siege Tank coming out, and now a Cyclone, and now Cloaked Banshee. Wow, very late Cloaked Banshee. Cure, are you sure about... I got it. This one seems really dumb. However, did he... I guess he saw that the starport had no add-on earlier. And Cloaked Banshee shuts down a Marine tank push, usually quite well, because they often aren't saving scans, they're not expecting it. So he might just be so focused on stopping Byun's counterattack. Cure realizing Byun's always looking for a chance to be aggressive. That's his forte, it's his style. So if I can just have some tanks sieged, and actually he's even building a 3rd Cyclone. Wow, this is actually a very clever play by Cure. Can he stop this drop though? 2 Cyclones, a tank, 4 Marines, and a Hellion. Gonna hit there, Cure. Oh, does he go for the double lock on the tank right after, and the depot spotting for it? Oh, beautiful play. And that siege tank going down. This is really bad for Byun. Byun's going to try to do a fancy lock on there. He gets shut down. Slip, slap, slop. And you see a Banshee, but you don't know there's Cloak. Magfield's on the way as well. Cure is going to play mech from here, guys. So he's got Cyclones out for map control. Tanks from there. 3rd command center needs to start up. You really need that 3rd base to open up as a mech player, because it's all about building up to the max. Big thanks once again, by the way, Fluffy Puffy, for being so generous before. I'll give you some more props after this game, but you've really been carrying the stream today, mate. All right, so Banshee's coming in. Raven for Byun. Thankfully, he is doing that. He's also got 2 Cyclones and a medevac that are hunting for that Banshee right now. Cloak did finish, but the Banshee's just chilling at home. He's going to wait, join up, go across the map. Hellion's going to see this. Let's go to... does he notice this? He sees it. Yeah, I was going to say, does he see it? Does QS see this? That was QS camera. QS sees it. but he doesn't pull his Cyclones down to the bottom right. Why? Because, sorry, Byun sees it. I was getting my players confused. Because he knows that the Banshees will probably, they've been spotted on the bottom side, so they'll probably come through the top. So Byun's saying, okay, cool, I'll see if I can catch them. Maybe I can catch those Banshees rotating. But they kind of move back, and they've ended up going through the center on the right side. Very hard to guess that was the case. And if those Cyclones don't move home, you're going to be in trubs, mate. You haven't built missile turrets. Actually, wait, he's got a third Cyclone himself. Oh, never mind. Those Banshees ain't going to find Jack, guys. Double Armory goes down here, as well as second and third factory. So Q is going to be turtling for the rest of this game. I usually favor Bio, unless the mech player has had a good start or really surprises the opponent with it. I feel like Byun has all the info he needs. What's interesting is, like, all the advice I give to low-level players against mech, oh, it's going to be very slow and turtley, so take lots of expansions, be very greedy. Byun does none of that when he plays mech. He basically just makes a big army, plays very standard, just constantly builds army, and he's just very patient and good at picking his time to fight. If the mech player pushes too early, he crushes it, wins the game. Often when the mech player goes to take a fourth base, he just runs in and breaks them. Like, he just says, oh, half your tanks are sieged on the right, I'll attack the top left over here, fight only half your tanks at once, and he suddenly just wins the game. He's very good at just, like, calmly, methodically finding the weakness. Byun is a master of that, and these Cyclones poke in. Third base is floating down now for Byun. I'm really curious to see how good Q's mech play is. It's going to be very fascinating to find out. He's got Magfield, Concussive, and Cloak. That there is, of course, the upgrade tab of a player that's had a pretty interesting early game. Cyclone drop in the far left. That's interesting. I feel like Cyclones are never a bad unit to have in the mix, but they're just a bit awkward when you're using Marines and tanks, so you kind of usually want to just keep them as like a little defensive squad or something like that. Oh, look at that. Q is like, yeah, get an SCV and a depot. Any damage is good damage, guys. Free damage is always good damage, you know? Doesn't cost him any units. Why the heck not? Fourth and fifth factory are going down. You normally want 2 reactors, 3 tech labs, so expect him to build those add-ons in a little bit. Grabs an SCV and does lose the Banshees for it, or at least one of them. Byun doesn't chase. I think he's worried about the Cyclones catching his Raven Viking. So Byun playing real cautious and, oh god, get out of there, man! Whoa, the boost does get that Cyclone home. Well done. You guys feel like the sound's a little quiet? Turn that up ever so slightly. I accidentally pressed that keyboard button earlier, so I figure let's use that keyboard scroll wheel. I don't know if there's a way to disable that thing. It's so annoying. Cyclones coming down here. I like that Q is just kind of mopping the map up with these Cyclones, but gotta be careful. Because that medevac can out-micro your lock-ons. Oh, Byun! Oh, Byun. That was a sexy move, that was. Gets 2 Cyclones, or a Cyclone, sorry, without losing any of his own. Hellions on the right side there. Q is looking for a little run by. Doesn't have Blue Flame. 2 Hellions on their own ain't going to do too much. Not with the Bio Rally coming out past there. Marauders will clean that up. He'll be lucky to get a single SCV. And indeed, not even going to get that. 4th Command Center is on the way, though. Q, he's got 2 upgrades on the way. He's got 8 tanks, 8 Vikings, a Raven. Now, there's medevacs building for Byun, and this is always fascinating to me, because I'm always like, surely you want to wrestle air control off the mech player. Byun's like, no, just build 6 Vikings, then make medevacs. It's cool. He goes for such a standard mix of units. You know, most people lean really hard into pure bio medevac for supreme mobility versus mech, or they go 2 starports and pump the Vikings and wrestle air control. He's like, no, I'm happy being a little behind on Vikings. I'm definitely down on half the tank count, but you know, I just roam around, make sure he doesn't get a free 4th base, and he's going to see that 4th now. Okay, those Cyclones should probably run in to try to slow these buildings from getting up. He's got a Marauder, and his Rally is on the top, so main army on the bottom, Rally on the top. He could also Doom Drop in the main. There's 6 missile turrets there, though. Tanks are going to move forward. Interference Matrix is coming in. He's going for it. Byun going for a big engage, but I think that might be a little bit too ballsy there as counter matrices do land. Cyclones on the top side trying to pick off those siege tanks. He's got his own tank sieged up behind the mineral line, funnily enough. And those 2 tanks on their own are kind of spread out. Byun maybe could have stimmed on that, but of course the awareness was not there, as most of his focus is in the bottom right. Any damage is good damage. He's going to try to pick up and boost. But guess what? The Vikings turn around, get a full medevac. They get another medevac that has units in it. 3 medevacs go down. Great trade for Q there. And yes, his 4th base got lifted off for a little bit. But I don't think he minds too hard. He's going to lose a few tanks retaking this 4th. Byun's making him pay prices for it. But none of these prices seems too prohibitive, man. 1, 2, 3 interference matrices are ready. Byun had a handful more bio here. You can see he's going to stim on this tank position, guys. If his Ravens come in from the right, he can matrix 3 of those tanks and stim on it. Kua realizing that right side is a little undefended. He's reinforcing right now. And he's actually doing a bloody good job. I'd love to see him repair that planetary and get a few turrets on this left side. But down on the bottom right, the barracks will be getting picked off by the Marines. Byun has a 4th up and it's an orbital. He says, I have full map control. I don't need planetary fortresses. I would argue this is where that criticism of Byun comes in, that, like I said, that there's no big edge to his play right now. It's like, okay, well, you've got some production, but not that much, man. I mean, this is 8 barracks. You don't have a second factory yet, right? Yeah, no second factory, so we can only build 1 tank at a time, which is actually very scary. It's going to be hard to defend positions. He's basically swapping into pure bio medevac. And that means the Hellbats are going to be a big problem because they tank so much and the siege tanks rain down death from behind. Vikings coming forward with the tanks and the Hellbats. 1 siege tank goes down, but that's not going to be a good enough angle. Byun loses his Ravens and Vikings. I think he was very happy with that trade. Banshee goes up front. Oh, Byun's going to try and ambush him. He says, how dare you move down this ramp? Kua says, no, mate. I've got the numbers. You cannot take this fight. And Byun's army gets wiped there, taking a bit of an overeager battle. Everything I said about how Byun just seems to understand the weakness of mech, he's actually saying, I'm going to do the opposite of that this time. These fights have not been good enough for him. Now, he's going to find an opening on that base. Kua will have to deal with that with his rally, but Kua's trying to shove the front. Massive 2-2 mech timing versus the 2-2 bio. And these tanks, notice he's just sieging a few at a time while most of them march forward, realizing Byun doesn't have the numbers to do a pitched battle. As long as a few tanks are sieged, it's prohibitively scary, that splash damage to actually do that. Byun's going to pick up and try to get out of there with those medevacs, but oh, that command center goes down. Byun loses his 3rd command center. That's a big issue. He's got more, and he kept his SCVs alive, but they're going to rally through the Hellbat. Oh god, guys, the SCVs do get pulled back by Byun, but that Hellbat's it's gonna hunt him down, man. This Hellbat, anyone call for some barbecue? He's gonna get in there and roast and toast right now. The Exterminator's being called, and he's gonna burn those drilly boys out of here. The bio's stimming, but there's no medevac left to heal it. A position any bioverse mech player recognizes where they've overstimmed the bio and they just can't heal. Too many medevacs got picked off earlier by the Vikings, getting amazing value. SCVs get pulled and Cure. Proxy Marauder into mech takes game 1 versus Byun. Heck yeah, GG, well played. That was a sexy game 1 there from Cure in the top right side of the map, guys. And he's playing very safe. Double gas opening into an SCV scout, which is amazing because his opponent's proxying him. The thing is, does he realize that he's being proxied? If he clicks the gas, let's see, does he click on the gas? He doesn't click the gas. He sees, oh yeah, you're mining 2 gases. Oh yeah, double gas opening, no worries. And Kua thinks this is a normal build. Little does he know this is in fact a 2 barracks Reaper build, which is very fantastic. That command center, if it goes down in the natural, it's a big bummer, because that should be some free SCVs getting killed. Excuse me, mini burp into my microphone, that was great. But yeah, basically 3 Reapers is the window where you run in and you start killing SCVs, and especially if you can get like a Reaper kill, if Kua doesn't realize what's happening, Byun could get massive damage. And look at that, the first 2 Reapers already coming on in, and he's like, boom, boom, gets that one, and Kua realizing what's up. Notice he's trying to rally that Reaper to safety, but Byun's already on top of it, and oh my god, he gets it! You're kidding me! I didn't think he'd get the 3rd shot of... Oh, that's so good. Kua needed to rally that to the left side of the barracks, which feels bad, but he absolutely had to do it, man. Reaper comes in, Byun's gonna get that too! Byun's gonna get that too! Perfect focus fire by Byun, even though there's a Hellion here, which is of course annoying. He's got 2 Reapers, and every SCV got pulled. The command center gets cancelled. This is devastating damage. Factories on the way behind it. Remember, this is not an all-in. Proxying just a 2nd barracks. It's quite aggressive, but, I mean, this is the dream scenario where Kua scouts with an SCV, doesn't pay attention to the fact that it was a late 2nd gas, just kind of does a cursory scout. It's like, oh yeah, everything's all normal. If Kua clicked on that 2nd gas, he would have been able to realize, wait a second, the gas is meant to start 1 minute into the game, guys, and this one didn't start till about 1 minute and 15 seconds. You can see here, it's meant to start about 55 seconds. Very late 2nd gas. All right, well, answering fire with fire. Rebellion, Shopify Rebellion's Byun ties up the series 1-1. We're going into Gressman. Now, the players have each other's respect. Cure, I think, should be a little annoyed at that. I mean, you SCV scout, you're meant to realize that there's a worker missing, that one of your opponent's gases is too late, but so often lately when people scout, they are looking for just one thing. They're like, oh, you have a Nexus at the normal time? Must be a normal build. They go home, and then they find out the gateway was built in their natural. It's a max packs build, and because they just didn't bother going in the extra few centimeters and paying attention, they are in big trouble. But yeah, Byun had exceptional micro. So when those Reapers were coming in, imagine this is Q's barracks from the last game, guys. He tried to rally this way, essentially. He needed to actually rally to the outside of his wall. Just anything to keep your Reapers alive, join them together, and then micro with the SCVs. But Byun just got in there and got that first Reaper, which is absolutely game-changing. Fantastic Byun micro. We call him one of the best micro players in the world for a reason. Micro Jackson. You might have heard that nickname, guys. It's of course because he has the cheekbones. He's very pale, and he has, yeah, Michael Jackson-esque cheekbones. Incredible aesthetics on this man's face. His hands are fast. His face is beautiful. I wonder if he can sing well. A lot of Koreans are pretty good at singing. There's a lot of singing in Korean culture. Oh, look at that. He's like, you can't raise this depot. Haha. And then he decides to come in for the confirmation scout anyway. Sees the command center.
Command center upgrade.
But is happy to lose the SCV. The drilly boys taste my drill. No, you taste my drill. Looks like Byun does win the fight with the Reaper coming in. Q no doubt shouting out, no fair. My SCV would have got that kill otherwise. All right, Reaper's running on forward. Looks like this is 2 workers on one gas, one on the other. Of course, on the other hand, the 1-Rex expand for Byun. Byun does go reactor after single Reaper and Marine, so he wants to get that double Marine production sooner rather than later. Get out of there, Cure. Good quick pullback. Great response by Cure. He's going to go 2 Reaper Hellion. I can't imagine he goes 3rd Reaper. In this scenario, you know that they're going to be very prepared for aggression. On the other hand, they're on the high ground. And if they're stuck on the high ground, they can't be building a bunker right now. So maybe going 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion is actually the play. And indeed, 3rd Reaper and 2nd Hellion queues up for Cure. He's going to be looking for some aggression. On the downside, that reactor's finished, which means Marines can pump 2 at a time. Hellion's building as well for Byun. Now, Byun has a 2nd barracks. Did Cure see it? No, he didn't see it. So Byun wants to play the bio dropping style. I love this style. It's one of my favorite builds. Learned from Gumiho and Byun when I was really grinding Terran very hard. And I actually played it to reasonable success against Byun a bunch of times in this tournament. So I know it in a very deep manner. And the main thing is if you can hide what you're doing, you'll be so, so happy. And right now, Q has no idea that 2nd barracks is in the back. But for now, Byun has to focus more on just surviving this wave. The command center hasn't landed. I think Q should pull back maybe. Let him land it, try to bait him to the low ground. Marines moving out. Are we gonna, oh, careful, they're clumped. Oh, you can see Q was trying to catch those clumped up Marines, but good micro here by Byun. Ends up doing a lovely spready. And looks like he's got to back off as more Marines come down. Yep. Q got some okay. He got a trade, but I don't know if it's really what he was looking for. This command center is up a lot earlier. Double orbital mule dropping. He's dropping his own mules. It's equal SCVs. Actually, you've got a Raven up a lot quicker as well. Starport's only now starting, but that is the nature of the 2-on-1, right? He's going to go for a very quick double drop and doing it off just one Cyclone. Normally, I'd say that's a little bit unsafe, but because he killed most of the Reaper Hellion, he's feeling great. Holy crud, thank you very much, Pyro, for the love in the chat. Fluffy Puffy hopping on as well. Guys, I'm going to give you guys some crazy shout-outs after this game. But for the love of the StarCraft, I'll keep talking about this for now. But damn. Level 7 hype train, that's crazy. All right, 2nd Raven's on the way. It looks like... Okay, so the weakness of this... I wanted to talk more about this build. Twofold. If they realize what you're up to, they can just turtle really hard, methodically take a 3rd, give you no openings, play Tank Viking, and just play a very careful turtley style and not really give you any openings. They always leave an extra tank in the main and have their Vikings ready to stop drops because you're playing mobility. You want to basically Zerg as Byun here. You want to play Zerg Terran. You want to drop and run in from all sides, and you might not have the best long-ranged fighting units, Marines versus the enemy tanks, but if you can surround them or flank them or come from 2 or 3 sides, the Marines are so high damage like Zerglings, they can really succeed. And because you're more mobile, you can afford to expand greedily on the map. So you're expanding earlier and you're taking it on the map. Double Drop's going to try and sneak into that main base where it could find massive damage if he gets in there and surprises his opponent. He's got one siege tank out. And of course, third barracks straight into the reactor. Starport will build a new reactor for itself. And notice, he did all this off 2 gas. That's another great thing about the 2-on-1. You're not building as many tech units, so you could delay those gases till after your third command center goes down. And double engineering bay will come down in the near future as well once they start mining. For now, double drop in the main. Q does not see it coming. His army's in the middle of the map. Perfect timing for Byun. And this is a disaster because those are Stim Marines and he does not have an answer to it. That is not my internet, guys. It's Enki. Okay. Last week I said that, and it kind of was me at one point. I did hit a spike, but that's bad timing. Okay, so the reason this is such a terrible time for the lag to happen is because I have beaten Special in this cup using this same build, and this was the exact same scenario. He didn't know I was doing a 2-on-1. He moved out, and as his army hit the halfway point with his tank push, my double drop hit his mineral line. And it was just game over. Special, for those who don't know, is like a casual 1500 MMR higher than me. And yeah, that basically, if I could beat Special from here, I think Byun can beat Cure from here. Because what have you got? You got like a tank about to pop, 2 Vikings and a Marine. Cool, you got 15, 14 Stim Marines. They're going to die the moment they pop. As long as Byun can get any defense here, he doesn't even need to defend his natural, right? He can lift off his third or cancel it, pull his SCVs off his natural, lift the command center. Just needs to get tanks and Marines on the high ground. He's already got 1 tank out, and with 2 tanks and 3 Marines building at a time, he should be easily able to defend. But actually, wait, there was a tank at home. Cure gets a tank sieged up. I mean, 12 SCVs is still devastating damage, and that third will get cancelled. He's going to drop on top. Byun. No, he's going to drop past. He flies right past into the natural. Genius move for Byun. Genius move for Byun. Byun's trying to hang on to his natural, though, and I don't know if that's the call. He's got so many depots down here. Definitely wants to hang on to that natural if he can. And that third command center is still building for Cure. Cure, even though he's lost 17 workers, has a better economic follow-up if he can clean this army up. Oh, he stims forward and gets the tank. A lot of SCVs are going down here. Byun is going to take out like 24, 25 SCVs, which is massive damage. Unfortunate move command on the Vikings for a moment. But how does he break out? He's not building medevacs. He forgot his reactor that whole time. Guys, it was like 2 minutes ago when his drop was heading across the map, 1:40. Oh, and the Ravens come in. Whoa, he's gonna interference matrix. He uses auto turrets, so Byun wisely pulls his Marines back, says, okay, you kill those tanks, but your Ravens are out of energy. Next tank will be out soon, but losing his medevacs. He's going to pull the boys. He's going for the boy pull, trying to catch those siege tanks on siege, but the SCVs, they're not doing it properly at all, man. Oh, no. Oh, that one siege tank coming home saved the day for Cure. Of course, we couldn't see on the pause screen that a tank had just popped out and instantly turned around, sieged up, and saved Cure. Ooh, turns out in hindsight, maybe Byun should have just sieged the natural and tried to pull the boys there. And fight, because with Stim Marines, as long as they have SCVs tanking, there's always a chance. Oh, right. It's going to be annoying that he's run into that siege tank. I thought he had a winning position. It was kind of the dream, but 2 big mistakes, guys. Number 1, no starport reactor. And number 2, should have defended the natural and pulled the boys in front of that. It would have been a lot of damage that he took, but definitely needed to do it. Beyond there, definitely getting the worst end of it. Now Cure only 1 game away from winning the whole thing. He's going to be doing a double gas SCV scout again, but I guarantee you that SCV is going to go in there and double check the gas timings this time around. Bit of a panic boy pull for Byun in that last one. You got to be really cautious. If you see that Raven moving forward, you got to, if you can quickly unsiege, if you start the unsiege before the interference matrix hits you, because it goes like choosh, like that, it goes. The Raven comes up, it usually stops, and it goes, doosh. If you can just start unsieging, the unsiege will finish, and you can walk away. Wait for the interference matrix to wear off, and then do it. Cure once again goes in, but he actually goes in deep enough to see the factory this time. And if there's a factory, there's no second barracks this early, so nice safe play for Cure. Cure's always been the one guy who, even doing double gas openings, likes to mix in the SCV scout a lot. And Byun's always been the guy who hates the SCV scout in any match, literally ever. No! Did he just shoot the Urubu, guys? I heard a gunshot go off, but that Urubu was on full life. Or was there a second one he shot? That was very confusing, guys. For those who don't know, the Urubu curse, if you shoot the Urubu, 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 who are you? Urubu, Urubu, curse on you. That's what happens, basically. The Urubu, for those who don't know, is a weird flappy bird, vulture-like creature that spazzes out on Babylon. Kua! Alright, Kua's gonna lose this game. Kua's gonna lose this game. Kua just brought the curse on himself. Meanwhile, Byun, he started shooting the Urubu, but I guess the shot didn't complete. So we heard the sound, but the shot didn't go off. Urubu, Urubu, I bless you. Urubu, Urubu, thank you. That's what the Urubus say to Byun. He doesn't realize that they are blessing him simply because they know that their friendly left side of the map Urubu did get shot down by Kua. And it's actually really consistent. I'm not even kidding, guys. Every game I've cast, and I've said this, oh, they killed the Urubu, they've cursed themselves, they've lost. It's 100%. You guys call me out. Call me out if I'm wrong. Call me out if I miss a game where this isn't the case. But the Urubu curse is actually, so far, it's like maybe 6 different games I've cast where they killed the Urubu and then they lost. It's wild. Thank you very much for the love, guys. Appreciate it. Those watching live and over on YouTube, if this one makes its way there, probably means it's a 3-2. Bit of a banger, hey? Ah, we don't actually know that. Urubu, Urubu. My god, their legs are really creepy, aren't they, man? Funny little unit. Alright, guys, we've got a drop coming out. It's going to be a Reaper, a bunch of Marines, and a Widowmine. Not a bad little drippy drop. Very mobile. Very light commitment. Cyclone, of course, can shut it down. Widowmine can do real good too, but looks like he's going to try to come in from the left side, get a few SCVs on the gas, and then just pull on out. Going for his own tanks and Ravens behind this, of course, but a little bit behind the Raven production of Kua as he started it up early. And Kua gets a 3rd command center down very quickly. Nice move. Drop coming in on the left side. SCV was about to build a depot there. Still going to get that started. Cyclone gets some good damage. Medevac below half-life. Only 3 more Cyclone ticks to take that out. He's going to drop the Widowmine and just leave it there. Adds the Hellion to the drop instead. But he knows he's being chased. The Cyclone Reaper Hellion of Kua looking for the completion on that. Medevac boost should be ready. Hit the NOS! And he gets out anyway. Doesn't even need to hit the NOS. No worries. Alright, we've got a second Raven on the way for Byun, but he's hitting a bit of a supply block here at 62. Interesting. His 3rd command center is not started either. When you don't start a 3rd command center, you want to have more units than them so you can do a 3 Raven push. This is very unfortunate. He needs to start another depot right now. His 3rd command center is starting as the 3rd is almost finished of Kua, a minute late. And still no depots beginning. Byun, time to focus on those depots, mate. There we go. He's going to start it up. But once again, the factory will grind to a standstill. Unless he starts a tank right now. Okay, he's gonna swap the barracks and starport around, so I guess he's only losing a bit of SCV production time, but still matters. SCVs, the longer this game goes, the more important it is. Someone was saying they think Byun shot the rocks. I don't know, maybe the buildable plate? Nope. The rocks are all the way over there, so I don't think he was that far forwards. I'll click on them if we get a chance. I'll try to click on those rocks. Hellion coming on in. We've got a 3rd command center floating down. 2nd and 3rd barracks on the way. And straight into Viking production. Q is just rock solid in this game. Double Raven versus double Raven, by the way. Remember, Ravens build quicker. Their auto turrets aren't nearly as tanky, but their interference matrix is as good as it's always been. And Byun now going 2nd and 3rd barracks in the natural. The reason why you'll see them in the natural is because you've got all your SCVs rallying to the expansion. It makes sense to pull workers off from there, build buildings, and then rally them either back to the natural or over to the 3rd base. Now, Reapers and Marines look like they want to go for a drop for Byun, but still a nice little Hellion Cyclone Reaper squad controlling the map for Kua, but he doesn't see this move out yet. Uh-oh. It's a big move out. He scans. He sees the tail end of it. He's going to go in there. See if he gets the tank. If he gets the tank, that'd be nice. Nice lock on the siege tank. Tank tries to kill the Cyclone to defend itself. Byun's pulling everything home right now. This is pretty successful. Getting a tank, delaying the engineering bays, pulling the whole attack home, as well as killing 3 or 4 SCVs. I'd say this is reasonably successful. And the way Byun's walled off his buildings here makes that extra awkward. He now needs to put SCVs back on mining. See there, just shift-click those SCVs on the engineering bays. Scans the other side of the map to make sure Kua isn't moving in with his own tank position. And Kua's up 7 workers. Kua's playing a cleaner game right now. He's being more solid on his worker production. His own engineering bays are now catching up. You would have expected Byun to be faster on something since his 3rd was slower and he's down on 8 SCVs, but we're getting to the point where he's now down on army and he's down on workers, and, well, I mean, his upgrades are starting a few seconds earlier, but not that far, especially if Kua does remember to start these. Kua's starting sensor towers, +1 attack, and as he gets 100 gas, +1 armor starts. Depots are building for him a little bit more consistently. And it feels like Q is happy to just tread water. Whereas I always feel like Byun is a player who's like, gotta go, we gotta race to the finish line. You know, there's always a play. He's much better when he has a play in mind. Hero, Byun, these more aggressively minded players at their core are much better at playing StarCraft when they are in that state of mind, where they know the exact play they're making. Whereas Q, I feel like, is much more happy to just go to the next step and see what happens. He's gonna wait for his opponent to make a move, and then he'll react to it. That reactive style of play favors you in a very passive game like this, because this is your comfort zone. Whereas Byun's out here, just beyond the sensor tower vision, hoping that he can catch a bit of an ambush. Just come on, stumble on in, please. He's got to be careful. He's very close to pushing in range of the sensor tower. He's just outside of range right now. Oh man, Kua was thinking about moving out, but instead Kua says, you know what? Let's just keep turtling. Go for the double drop. Double drop down the south. There are some spotting depots being built and marines. Double scan goes in for Byun. Byun's down on the Viking count. At least here on the front. He's got 8 versus 8. No, dead even. Dead even Viking count. Oh, there's no tank covering that mineral line. Kua leaves an opening. The Marines can take advantage. Unfortunately for him, Byun is overcommitted to the front lines, and this double drop is going to do way more damage. It looks like the Vikings both just traded, guys, and Byun actually lost the Viking trade, losing one of his, not killing one in return. And my god, that is going to be a lot of damage. The orbital. Uh-oh, the orbital does lift, it does mass repair, but the moment he changes targets to those SCVs, that's where the damage stacks up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to focus now on the siege tank. Oh, it does go down, but only after getting a shot off, and it looks like that will be a hold for Byun. Not before losing 15 SCVs. His army milling around at the front, looking like he desperately wants to force the issue. Meanwhile, Kua redrops the low ground, and auto turret's going to be needed to clean that up, I believe. He'll use the Vikings. Okay, good conservative use of the Raven energy. 21 SCVs though. By golly, that's... Byun was behind, and now he's further behind. And this is what it looks like when Byun plays Maru in the old days. Is Maru's happy to defend and just send these little pinprick drops across, and Byun's like, oh god, please, let's do it, man. Maybe it was these rocks that Byun attacked earlier. Chat's figuring out. Since the Urubu didn't take damage. Fair enough. Good job, detectives. Oh! Whoa! Kua moves out of position! Big mistake for Kua. Gonna get punished hardcore. He's got a tank and a few marines, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough. He's gonna have to try and move back now. Byun's driven a wedge in between the two players. Anti-armor missile goes down. Kua wins that tank trade. The tanks are in vision of each other, but they don't have vision right now. Just whoever scans wins this tank fight. Marines plus Matrix goes into the natural. Oh my god! These tanks are doing so much. The Marines are diving here. Kua is in such an awkward position. Those Vikings will go down. Looks like those tanks are going to get isolated, but Byun fine. 16 workers in a command center. He's taken so many drugs, guys. Don't do drugs. Those Marines deep in the red. Ain't enough methadone in the world to get these boys off those stim packs, but they're going to try their best to get as much damage done before they leave this world. Very nice play. Saves 3 of his tanks as well. Does either player have a second factory, guys? No second factory versus 2 factories. Q has a second factory, and he's already up 4 tanks. This is very scary for Byun. He needs to keep using his mobility to his advantage. And right now, Q is on the warpath. He's going to counterattack here. Byun wisely evacuates that position. He's going to counter drop right now. Triple drop coming in. Oh god, Byun, watch out! Watch out, you've been spotted. The Vikings coming for the intercept, but they miss it. They don't quite get the intercept. A tank siege is up. A tank and 4 Marines, plus the Vikings coming in are going to turn this into a costly... Oh, Trady accidentally drops the tanks, then picks them back up. They get shot down. Byun! Oh no! That drop did not work out. It got spotted way too far ahead of time. And now Byun is just vastly outnumbered. He's trying to rebuild or build a 4th command center for the first time. Meanwhile, the natural being rebuilt for Kua. Byun's up 10 SCVs, but he just threw away his marine advantage, which was the only thing making up for the 7 tank deficit. And there we go. He does get an opening volley off, and he gets 1, 2, 3 siege tanks before Kua can fire a shot. Game-changing ambush for Byun. He was looking for it in the middle of this map all game. Kua doing so well in this game and this series until both times when he's pushed across the map half-cocked, guys. You got to make sure you're a full-cocked, you know? Yeah, people go whole hog. They don't say go half hog. Come on, man. 3-3 upgrades is on the way for Byun. Kua is only on 1-1. Kua is only on 1-1. He completely forgot 2-2, guys. Oh no, Cure. What was he even doing pushing earlier without starting 2-2? Cure getting ahead of himself. He's played this series so well, and then he got way ahead, and then he decided to just shove across the map with a nonsense 1-1 timing. Gave Byun an opening. Now crushes the next Doom drop. Still massive advantage. Stumbles into an ambush in the middle. Q is still in this game with a fighting chance. It's very similar army supplies. But only now does he start 2-2, plus 2 vehicle weapons. And when you're that far behind on upgrades, basically you want to think of your Marines as supporting units for your tanks and Vikings. Tanks and Vikings are what will win you this game, nothing else. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Those tanks get in a good position for Byun. Takes a trade on some of those Marines. He's going to leave some Marines on the far north. The tanks do really well for Byun there, actually. Even though he doesn't have a single vehicle weapon upgrade, gets a gas in some of those workers up there. Kira has to kind of stumble north. A drop sneaks into the main base, and even a few Marines sniping some Vikings would be very effective. Looks like he's probably not going to get too many. The Vikings will land, but, you know, any Viking, any medevac, any distraction is also big because your Vikings aren't at the front, and that means the Marines can drop right on top. Marines dropping right there in range of the tanks. Byun going for the old shovety shove, and this series will not be a 3-1 victory despite Kua being way ahead. Byun ties up the series and forces game 5. Alright, well, we're going to go to game 5, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not kill the Urubu. Kua bringing down the curse upon himself for getting his 2-2 upgrades and moving out at a terrible timing. It's that first time Byun ran past him. Byun really just got given an extra life. He was way behind in that game. Was trying to force the issue a bit too much on the aggression, was not finding the mark, and that was a bit of an issue. But we'll see how we go. SCV is going to come down. Q are playing very safe here with a 1-Rax expand. Interesting. So 1-Rax expand up against a reactor first for Byun. Now, if he goes up that ramp and sees that reactor, he should rally his Reapers straight across the map and try to kill the worker building the factory potentially. So he sees it. Factory is building back here. Now Byun knows he's being scouted, so he's going to be like, okay. Interesting to see. When you're scouted in this scenario, I always default to going up the tech tree, not building as many Reapers and Hellions, but I find the pro gamers, they're like, no. Pump those Reapers, pump those Hellions. I don't care, man. We gotta build those Reapers, get out there. They keep you safe, they can do damage. It's always a good idea to build some of those nice, fast, mobile units, it feels like, for these top players. Oh, here we go. Reaper running in. Yep. So building the depot there I don't think made a lot of sense because that kind of presented the SCV for the kill. Like I said, Q was always going to run in here. No repair? Ooh, no repair for Byun. He's going to lose a second SCV if he's not careful. On the other hand, Q does stay too long, and that does mean he'll lose the Reaper for it. I guess Byun just said, it's fine. If he wants to stay here, he can get that kill, but he'll lose the Reaper. And he says, I'm already pumping them 2 at a time versus your 1 unit building at a time. And now, I killed your Reaper. So I'm going to have 4 Reapers and 2 Hellions, and you're going to have like 3 Marines. And I'm going to run straight past that bunker and do some big problems for you. So Q needs to do nothing but hold the Marine key down and be very, very cautious, because I feel like this attack could land big. And funnily enough, Byun has no idea what he's up against, right? Byun has had no scouting this game, and yet he's going straight starport here. The problem for him is Q knows the Mass Reaper Hellion Medevac build. Q invented this build, or at least he's the guy I learnt it off. He did this in Game 7 versus Innovation, or Game 5, I should say, of like a semi-final in 2019 or 2020 or something like this in GSL. Like, I remember because I learned this build off him. This is one of my favorite TvT all-ins. Reactor first, 6 Reapers into 8 Reapers. You drop 3 Hellions out of the Medevac, and you jump in with the Reapers, you boost in, and you try to kill the Cyclone. If you catch that Cyclone out and it dies, you just win the game. The Reapers and the Hellions can basically kill unlimited SCVs. It's just a very committed attack. Now, Q did not build a bunker in the main, and he just cancelled Marines to start a 3rd command center or something? What did he cancel Marines for? I guess the Raven. He needs every fighting unit he can get. Marines way more important than Ravens right now. His depot's going to see what's happening, but he's already used the boost. Has Byun. Interesting that he used the boost just to get across the map as quickly as possible rather than to use it to get on top of the units. He's already gone after those SCVs. He wants to kill the army more than anything. If you can get rid of the army, I mean, the SCVs are no problem for these Hellions and Reapers to take care of. You can see he's trying to get on top. I think he has the numbers to do it. The Cyclone. Oh, he's trying to break the lock on. Nice hot pickups there. The Medevac can, of course, break those Cyclones. Oh, man. Already 19 SCVs. Byun comes in with the huge one-base committed attack. Kyua knew that this was an option, but he just was not ready for it. Like I said, no bunker on the high ground. Going to be a problem there. Because you're just so behind on units after losing a Reaper and doing a 1-ranks expand against one of the most committed 1-base builds in the book. Reapers go back in the main, clean that up. There's a Cyclone left, but dude, the Reapers plus the Medevac lift? Okay, the Siege Tank will hold on, but there's a Natural finally coming up. I know you can see how committed this is, because the Natural's only now finishing at 5 minutes in the game. A massive commitment to the 1-base aggression, but it pays off big time. Byun has triple the workers. Kyua doesn't really have much of a counterattack available to him, and Byun can now add more barracks, and it looks like he may have just got him with one of the simplest all-ins in the book. Now, for those who don't know, in that series, similar scenario, Game 5, if anyone can find the series, let me know and link it up, please. I'd love to see it, to see if my memory is correct. But according to my very imperfect memory, because this is when I was really focusing on learning some TvT builds for the first time, I think, or one of the first times. Yeah, Innovation went 1-ranks expand into a 3rd command center with like no scout. He just did like a really greedy build in Game 5 when he was a massive favorite and just died to this exact same Reaper Hellion all in. And, so similar opening in that it was greedy. Obviously this wasn't a 3cc. That was disgustingly greedy what Innovation did, but even more damage coming in. And I feel like Byun has just picked his build very nicely. And Kyua, with all the information he got, I'll definitely rewind at the end of this game to take a quick glance. I feel like he should have known that this was an option. If he built a Banshee, that would have been amazing. Imagine if he had a Banshee instead of a Raven first. A single cloakless Banshee is so good because none of that army shoots up. So you can afford to pull your units back and be very much about avoiding the fight and just letting your Banshee do damage. I mean, you can juggle with the Medevac to keep your units alive a bit longer, but they're not going to stop all the damage getting through from that Banshee. Tanks, Marines, 3rd command center on location, and with 2 barracks making stim, Byun's looking fantastic in this game, guys. I feel bad for Kyua that he threw that last game, but let's be real. This is why you don't kill the Urubu. I literally, it's not even superstition at this point, guys. Sometimes there's patterns, we can't understand them. People say, oh, what do you think it's? You think it's God? Do you think it's the voodoo? Maybe it's the voodoo. I don't know. I don't have an explanation, but when I see a pattern repeat itself enough times, I go, that's a pattern. Don't kill innocent creatures, and maybe the world will be nicer to you. Maybe it won't make you forget to and lose games. I don't know, man. Okay. Oh, don't. Ooh, Byun does get ambushed by the tanky tanks. Good shot, gets a Reaper. Wounds the other ones, but double drops coming across the map. And he's already going to be slowed down by this Medevac drop here. Byun's like, oh, does he see the... Yeah, he sees the tanks, forces him to siege 4 Ravens. 5th Ravens on the way. Kyua is going all in on Marine Tank Raven, guys. It's all about this one big push to try to win the game and get back in it. But he has no idea he's up against a stim build again. He has no idea that that's the case. And look at that. Byun even gets the Medevac out. The double drop comes into the main base. He's not going to let a siege tank siege up this time. Kyua has to tap. Ow, GG. Well played. Now let's very quickly look at the end of the game. I think this should probably be included in the video because he saw what was up with the Reaper, didn't he? So the thing is with the Reaper, right? Byun should have already pulled off gas unless he's doing a 1-base play, because otherwise he's going to be putting command center. So let's... I just feel like maybe Kyua wasn't paying attention. But he comes in, there's 3 workers on gas, which is a huge tell. And he really, if he built a bunker in the high ground, or I think even better idea, the cloakless Banshee, I think he was completely fine here. But he seemed to misread what was happening in this game and didn't seem to understand, you know, hey, there's no command center. So I definitely feel like Kyua didn't realize what was up and made some crucial mistakes there. Canceling Marines to even get a Raven out. Banshee, Marines would have been the play. GG, well played to Byun though, an absolute beast, and hats off to him for coming back in that previous game. He was way behind. GG, well played.